Welcome to Tap TV, it's a group chat, the series where we talk about the things we actually chat about. My name is Taylor Patrice, and to my left we have
Gabby, Amina,
Lex Luger,
Jazz,
and to my right,
C,
and that's on Period. Today we're gonna get a little deep. We're gonna talk about daddy issues.
Damn, she said, everybody drink. Throw what? I mean, I'm just like, I'll take her.
Oh, you know, that's hilarious. All right.
I'm good.
We're gonna talk about daddy issues. So the question is, do you have daddy issues?
Here.
And if so, what are they? Everybody's
I don't know my dad personally, so I don't feel like I have daddy issues, but I feel like I do look for certain qualities in a man. But then at the same time, I'm very like, you're not my dad. I don't know my dad, so I don't look for a dad in men.
What would you guys identify as daddy issues?
I was just about to
Because I
ask
feel like a lot of times people identify daddy issues as looking for someone to fill the void of a dad not being there. But I don't feel like it's always that.
Yeah,
It's
no.
way many things.
It could be emotionally, mentally, you know, like she said, like, you know, she ain't never met her dad. I have a brother who never met his dad. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, mentally, you can say you okay, but really are you? I mean, who really don't want that bond with their dad? You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I guess you could say my issue is like, I remember growing up with my dad, but shit, he went to jail. You know what I'm saying? He came home when I was in like high school, and from there, like, you know, he started trying. You know, he wasn't really around beforehand, but when he came home, he did the best he could. And I just respect anybody trying. I don't care if I was 30 years old and he just now like, hey, baby girl, I was fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would give my dad that chance personally.
I have not, and I will not.
Have you ever had your daddy issues are like to you?
It's abandonment issues, and it's severe abandonment. So, like, I actually have mental health diagnosis from the abandonment that I experienced. So it's deeper for me just because, yo, you fucked me up for the rest of my life. Like, there's no way I'm not going to have any triggers from certain situations, from friends leaving, from men leaving. Like, you have fucked me up. Like, and no amount of apology is going to change the fact that you made a baby and things didn't work out, and you're like, all right, well, fuck it, it's not going to work out. And then you have like 4 other kids. So,
do you guys feel? Oh, go ahead.
Is he in the other kids' lives? Oh, I understand.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I have more so like I have abandonment issues, like you say. I guess now that you address them, but it's more so like I have abandonment issues, but also mommy issues as well.
I have double daddy issues. So I had my dad leaving when I was 7. I've seen my dad since I was 7. I'll be 30 in September. And then you have my mom dating who she was dating, and he's in the house, but I'm not his child, so he did not love me. Like, I was his kid.
Or like I do, that's so relatable because my mom married someone else, and I remember it like yesterday. I remember just being so eager that, you know, technically now I have a dad. I was like in 7th grade. I was like, you know, it was this one day I brought my friends. I was like, let me meet, like, you know, let me show y'all my dad. You know, I'm just like, you know, never had that opportunity. But I don't know what point in our relationship that he was no longer my dad. But it was short-lived though, very short-lived, because, you know, I guess you didn't meet the standards that I had in my head.
See, I kind of relate to the first thing you said, because it's like I can't miss something I never had. So it's like I didn't even know what a dad was. So I was in elementary school and people are like drawing pictures of their families and stuff, and they got a picture of their dad. I'm like, oh, what's that? Like, I got cats and a mom and a sister, and grandpa and all that. So, you know, it's like you can't miss something you never had, for real. So it's like, do I have daddy issues? I would say mine would be like the independent woman syndrome.
Right.
I don't need a man because I've never relied on one. I really don't, you know. So then it's like, as I get older, you understand like the importance of a man. So, oh, okay, shit, I just bought a house. I kind of need a man now.
You bought a house?
Yeah, you know. So.
Oh, can I come?
Yeah. Yeah, come on. grown, so we can host at my house next time. But yeah, so it's like you understand manly things.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, I've dated and I've been catered to, nurtured by a man, and I realize what I like now. So it's like my issue is I might push him away because I don't need him and I don't ask for help because I'm not used to it. So that's a transition I'm currently going through. But
yeah, I feel like, cause my mom was a single mom, so it's like I said, my dad came back around once I was in high school, but at that point, nigga, I'm damn near grown, so it's really only so much. But my mom, she had 5 kids, you know what I'm saying? She had boyfriends, but I was young and youngest of 5, so I didn't really get the experience what my siblings did. And you know, that's my other thing too. Like my dad got 6 kids, you know, I got my own dad, you know, own mom, own dad. Like all my other siblings got their own dad and shit too. So it's just like I feel like with that part, I feel like I was more abandoned, like, cause for my dad to have so many kids and my mom, and I ain't grow up with nobody.
yeah,
You know, that was hurtful for me more than anything. Like just having hella siblings, but you don't grow up with none of them.
That's crazy. I feel like it's a part of me. The only thing that bothers me the most about not knowing my dad is there's a family out there that regardless if he knows about me or doesn't know about me, there's a part of me out there in this world that I will never be able to connect with. So I for me, it kind of, I think a couple of years ago I had issues with it, but now I don't care as much. But previously I felt like there's a part of me that I will never, you know, be made whole with. I will never know that side of myself. Like, you know, for all I know, this is my sister, you know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. Like, that's how it is out here. So, like you said, for me, I feel like living in a house with just a mom that was a single mom that was getting it out the mud, I only have that, you know, that's the only thought that I have is just to provide for my family and take care of my kids. So then, you know, I'm learning now at 28 years old how to be a woman and how to live into my soft side. You know, I'm so used to being masculine, but I want to be feminine. I want to be a woman. I want to be able to be a baby, but I'm so used to having to be a hard body.
Yeah, I think for me, my dad's issues, like, I think my dad left to go to Vegas when I was 8. It might have been 11, but I mean, regardless, I don't really remember, which means, you know, he wasn't really around for real.
that is trauma.
And so I have 2 other brothers. One of them just passed away, but that live in Vegas. And so he went there to rekindle, and I use that word lightly, his relationship with them. They're also older than me. I'm the youngest of 4, and I'm also the only girl. So my oldest brother is 10 years older than me. So, you know, when he came back in their lives, they were grown. And I think he didn't really come back in my life until I was in high school. And the reason why he came back was because I was a really known basketball player here at the time. And his friends would see me in the newspaper all the time. Like, oh, well, your daughter's doing X, Y, and Z. So he really wanted to be a part of that. And I think that was something that he was really proud of. And I think I was really angry at the time because it's like, you didn't do anything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Basketball is all, or has been looked at as a men-dominated sport. And so I felt at the time that my father should have taught me something, whether it was how to run properly or how to dribble or something of that nature, and he didn't. And I think for me, although my mom never shamed him, and I know that had to be hard because the things that I know now, God knew it couldn't be me. But I just feel like, and he watches my videos, so I know that he's probably going to see this, but we've had this conversation that he was just really selfish with the decisions that he made, and knowing some of the stuff that I know now. I know that that's trauma, but at the same time, I feel like try. And I feel like the effort has always been but me. And I feel like when you have kids, at what point, it's not about you. And like growing up, I would call my dad or whatever. I remember him like turning off his phone because you could just block people back in the day. You know, on the flip phone, you gotta turn that bitch off. But I guess he used to say things along the lines of, well, the phone works both ways. Like when I went periods of time without talking to him, and it's like, but you are the father and want the role. Like, you want me to respect you as such, but you can't play the role.
That's not your role.
So I feel like, with that being said, I do have daddy issues, because I don't want to say that I don't trust, because I do, but it's just more so of when you show me who you are, it's like 10 times worse. Like, I'm going to give you the opportunity, until you mess up. But when you fuck up, I mean, it hits harder than, like, I feel like the average person, because of the daddy issues that I do have. And I think that my dad doesn't necessarily understand, because he also, from what I see, doesn't really treat women the best. And I feel like I receive a lot of the karma, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like, the way that he treats women, he feels like men should treat me better. But it's like, you can't even lead by example for me to know that a man should do X, Y, and Z. And if I am, which I don't think that I go for men like him, but if I was to, you're the only example that...
Right.
So,
and you gotta identify. He has to identify that karma comes full cycle, whether it's you or your kid. And you're not putting the right energy in the world, and so you're not realizing or recognizing that I'm receiving your karma, and you're not stepping up to the plate to protect me.
110%.
My biggest issue with my father is he's almost 50 years old, and he's still talking about how him, me, and my mom were supposed to be this big happy family, and she left me, and it just devastated me. And I'm like, nigga, like,
She was supposed to leave you.
Like, get over it. Like, I said it earlier, but people don't think that this baby grows up into a person. So, like, you're not just, they're not going to be a baby forever. They're going to have to deal with the consequences of your actions. And if you're sitting here, like, blaming my mom for, like, breaking up the quote-unquote family, I'm like, get the fuck over it. Y'all were 20 years old. Like, relationships at 20, they don't last forever, and they definitely have a lower percentage of lasting when you throw a baby into the mix. So I'm just like, that's an excuse.
That's no excuse.
It's not an excuse. Like, he's never taken, like, full responsibility of the fucked upness. It's always...
Well, the responsibility part, I think that men in general have a hard time at accepting responsibility, because you see, like, if a woman does something in a relationship, like she cheats or whatever, man is gone, right? Even though that he's done it 1, 2, 3, 4 times, a man, it's easy for men to walk away from a child, like, opposed to a woman. And I think it's just like, at what point or how, I guess you can't make anybody do anything, but how do we set men at this higher standard to where, like, it's accountability or nothing, because we have no choice at the end of the day.
With us not having a choice, I feel like it's easier for us as women to jump in and pick up the missing pieces versus making that man accountable and saying, like, X, Y, and Z needs to happen and you need to do this. We're more leader, like the women that we are today in this day and age, we're more so, you want to do it? Okay, I'm not going to ask a man for nothing else. I'll do it. I'll take care of my child myself. That single mom ideology is very potent in our generation. So many people are okay with being a single mom, because if I got to do, you ain't going to act right, you don't want to be right, all right, me and my baby going to be all right.
I don't have to deal with it.
Right, I don't have to. But I feel like that goes back to, like, what I was saying last time. It's like, that's that generational, or, that brainwashing that we receive as a black community from, like, that slavery. Like, I don't think that people realize how much slavery has a massive impact on us, because, like, from if we being released from being slaves, then it was the welfare thing. And what did the government do? And I always tell people this, like, I want people to really just think about this. The smallest thing that the government does to us is, like, they gave all these single moms, all right, here goes welfare, right? But in order for you to get welfare, that man can't live in your house no more. But that man ain't do nothing to me. He's a good man. He just ain't, we having a hard time. But am I going to not take care of my babies and get this government assistance because I want this man to be here? Or am I going to have to say, babe, we can be boyfriend and girlfriend at a distance? You know what I mean? So it was an easy choice for a lot of women. So I feel like then that became, that single mom, that's where it will become normal, because we're like, at least we're getting benefits.
Mm.
As long as we can take care of our baby, you know, fighting for our family didn't matter anymore.
Yeah. That's deep. I never like thought about that, but history was literally my worst subject in high school. So
They couldn't emasculate the black man through slavery anymore, so they emasculated him by taking away his family. Like, and then want to blame people now for like, oh, it's because they don't have 2-parent household and stuff like that. It's like you literally made it impossible for that to happen.
Right.
Like, y'all
I
know
mean,
what
it's
you're
even
doing.
happening now. Like, you can't afford anything. You raise the prices of everything, but not the pay.
Well, yeah, and now we're forced to be in these relationships with people that we're unhappy with because it went from a point where, you know, it was easy to get assistance, so now it's almost next to impossible to get assistance. So, you know, the price of living is so high, and I'm only making half of the income, and you make another half. We might as well figure this out together and work together and survive together. But I did have a follow-up question for you. Side note, you said that, you know, your dad was very hurt, you know, by your mom leaving him, and I know it's been a long time since that has happened. Do you feel like he has some trauma with his family that having his own family was so important, and it maybe, you know, he couldn't get over that? Not to excuse any of his behavior, just a question.
If he does, I don't know what it is. And me having a baby is way more of a commitment than saying I do. Because at any given time, I can annul this or I can sign a few papers and then we're done. I have a child with you. I am with you forever.
The rest of our lives.
So you thought it's all cute and dandy. Oh, I'm gonna busted her and then we're gonna have a baby. We're gonna stay together forever. But then you're not meeting the expectations of what it means to be a husband and be a father. Of course, that person is going to leave, and then you have to deal with the fact that you have created this life. And I forgive him, but I don't want him in my life. And I told him that a couple months ago. It was like, I forgive you, but I do not know you. Do not tell me that you miss me. Do not tell me that you love me, because I'm one of those people where I don't mean it. I cannot say it back. So it was just like starting to piss me off that he felt like he was entitled to my time and my acceptance. I'm like, that ship has passed. You saw another nigga in the house and you got all butthurt and you thought that was enough to leave me. And then the only reason why we even started talking again was because you child of God. My birth certificate has had my father's last name on it, but my social security card had my mom's last name on it, and I needed to get a passport. And the only way I could get a passport is if I changed my name. And when you change your name and you're a minor, you have to have the consent of both parents. And I think I was 14 at that time, going on 15, so I had to get in contact with them to change my name. And that opened the door, so like I know where he is and all that stuff, but then I found out that I had twin baby sisters. Like, I found out that he's still living in Jersey with his what does he call that? His common law wife, who he refused to marry because he'll tell me he's still so in love with my mom. So I'm just like, I've been waiting for about 14 to 15 years for some accountability that never came. It was just like,
For him to come, and he never came, or wasn't looking for you.
he knew where I was. He left literally in the middle of the night. Like, my mom went to go drop me off at his house because he lived in DC and we lived in Maryland. And his brother was in his old apartment and then told my mom that he moved to New Jersey. But he wants me to talk to him and do all these things and like, we're family. Like, you are not my family. Like, his mother tries to be like, oh, my granddaughter. Like, you are not my grandmother. My grandmother died 2 years ago. I don't know you. Like,
So do you hold everyone accountable now?
I hold everybody accountable.
I agree, because and a lot of times, like, sometimes you be like, so like, you don't want to, if, you know, they can only do so much. But as far as like aunts and uncles, that's one thing. But a grandmother that is like, I'm a child of your child. And if he's not clicking in his head to get in contact with me, where you knew about me for 7 years straight, and then I was just away, and you didn't have no desire, no want to come and find me or reach out to me, and so you're part of that abandonment too.
I've only haven't cussed her out for respect because she's old. But it used to make me mad because like I'll accept you on Facebook, whatever, you can see what I'm doing, but I don't want to talk to you. But she would just like start leaving comments saying like, oh, my granddaughter's so beautiful, she's this, she's that. I'm like, I'll delete every comment.
I'm not your granddaughter.
Like, I'm not your granddaughter. Like, Betsy.
Like what? Like her dad. Like, don't get the brownie points now. Don't be daddy or grandmother of the year now. What about before I was cute? When I was just a little fugly. What happened?
My grandma was in my life. My dad wasn't in my life, but my grandma was. His
Respect.
Mom. So like I was able to see her. She lived right down the street and stuff. So that was easy for me to be a part of her life.
Right.
But kind of like you said about your grandma and stuff. Like my grandma was married to a different man that wasn't my grandpa. My grandpa was alive. So it's like when my grandpa died, then my grandpa wanted to come be a part of my life. So it's like my grandpa, who's not my biological grandpa, died. And I'm young, so I can't really comprehend the fact that I have a biological grandpa alive. So it's like maybe there was something going on there too. It's just in that family, but like my I call him my bio because you don't get to be called a dad. But like my bio, he did some sabotaging stuff to me too, and it's just like demanding respect as his father, you know, as a father.
As a father, and it's like, but who are you?
Your name for him is much better than
Mine for a long time he was sperm donor in my phone.
That's the bio.
Yeah.
Well,
go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, and I feel you too. I think just like, you know, any relationship, like we quick to forgive our friends, we quick to forgive this nigga who do us dirty and shit like that. And it's like, I mean, how I look at it, you know, I never really had to be without my dad outside of him being in another relationship and him going to jail. And it still took some building over that. Like what you said, for me, as I'm older now and as an adult, what fucks me up the most about my dad is how, you know, I go to the back of my dad. You feel me? Like I'm going to my siblings, you know, they talking they one shit. But now I got to see for face value with who this nigga really is. Like you say, when I figure out who you really is, it's kind of worse because I'm thinking you this wholesome person.
Right.
I'm thinking you this stand up motherfucking guy. In reality, you just like all these other niggas.
And once you realize it when you get older, that's when the non-forgiving comes. Like for me, I don't hate you, I really don't. But let's keep it how it is. Yeah, you don't exist to me.
Right.
Just keep it how it is.
And I feel like, you know, like something she said before too, like I feel like sometimes, depending on the situation, it does cause more damage. Look, my dad calling right now. It does cause more damage when trying to bring somebody back in your life versus then to just not, you know, don't deal with it. Like, because it's like, why try to rekindle? Like, say, I mean, I can't miss something I never had. So
I think for me, I don't really necessarily mind my dad being in my life, but the problem that I have is the fact that he wants to be dad when he wants to be dad, and when he doesn't, he's like, why aren't you respecting me as a dad? And it's like, because you've never been that. Honestly, you're more so of a friend, and if you were anything else, you would probably just be an acquaintance. I feel like if
an old strange man.
Yeah, like if he was my age, he'd probably just be an acquaintance, because I don't really associate myself around people that do the stuff that he do. Like my dad's a hardcore, you know what I'm saying, partier. I'm not. Like I don't really. I mean, I drink occasionally. I don't smoke. Like, I mean, I like to have fun. Don't get me wrong. I'm definitely the life of the party, but I'm talking about hardcore partier. If you follow, you follow. And it's like my dad mooches off of women, and it's like I don't even really want to say this because I know that he watched my stuff, but it's just like he know that I'm a realized person. Like I'll sit here and tell him stuff to his face. I have, but it's just like you are not the type of friend that I would even have around. So it's just like I don't mind you being around because you are my dad, but I really don't look at you as a dad, and I probably never will. But we can definitely have some type of friendship or cordial relationship, because that's what it feels like. I can't call you when I'm in trouble. I can't call you and ask you for money. I can't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. I can't call you and do nothing. I can't call you and vent about no man. I cannot do none of that. I can't even really call you and be like, let's go work out. You know what I'm saying? It's more so, you know, we hang out at the bar. I mean, you were with my dad when we went to Vegas. He was there for my 21st birthday, but it's that. Let's go party. Like, I would call my dad and go party.
Vegas, no problem. I got that.
Right. But I'm curious. So all of us are talking from a perspective of not having our father, but we do have somebody that grew up with a father. So how do you feel? Like, do you have daddy issues even though you grew up in a healthy two-parent household?
Yeah, I think. Well, I just wanted to hear like everybody else's perspective. Like, I feel like talking about it sometimes, like, people always like they just think it don't matter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, they just kind of sweep it under the rug. Like, even like with my own family, they kind of just sweep like the issues that like my family would have under the rug because they feel like we have it better than them. So like we don't really have nothing to worry about because we're not worried about what they worrying about. So it's like that's kind of how I look at it too. Like, this is not really like issues. Like, this is just how it is. But now, like, my thing, I think I realized, like, with men, I think I want them to always show up. Like, that's my problem. Like, I expect them to always show up because my dad, like, he, like, physically and, like, spiritually, like, materially, like, for everything, he was always there. And, like, he tried to be emotionally, but I think him and my mom both, like I said, like, they're very more survival instinct people, like, humans. So their nurturing is to provide. So, like, they didn't really have, like, that true like emotional thing. Like, they did, but like not as deep as it could have been. Like, you feel me? And it's just like they provide, and that's how they nurture. Like, they taught us what they could teach us. Like, you know, like, this is how you survive, this is how you pay bills, this is what you do. Like, my mom, she's very logical. Like, she just teaches me this is what the real world is. You know what I'm saying? And like now, like when I was younger, my mom, and my dad always made the effort to like be an example, which is something I really respected. And I think like that kind of reflects like in my relationships and things, as like I said, like I just always expect somebody to like show up and be who they said that they are, and also like be who they, you know, showed you. Like, somebody always shows you like the great sides of them when you first meet, like, you know, and I expect them to hold their own, like to actually be that. But then like sometimes I feel like I still have like trust issues, even though my dad was still here. Like, it just feels, it always feels at any moment that he can replace me. Like, I don't know why it feels like that, but it really does. And I think it actually stems from like when I was younger, and my cousin, they used to live with us, and this is like my cousin, like, you know, you have the sister cousins type thing. That was her. And she moved in, and her dad wasn't like showing up for her at the time. And so my dad, he always, and that's the thing, like a lot of my cousins, my dad is the oldest out of all his siblings, and he had 8 at the time. And a lot of them had kids, but their dads was never showing up. So he felt like he had to be everybody's dad. So it just felt like he was not always just mine. Like, I think that's also why I have a problem. Like, I don't know if what monogamy, I don't know if it's really right, because it's like you're claiming somebody, and like I kind of like feel like my dad was only mine. Like, you know, like, it's not your dad. Like, what the fuck? Like, no, like, what are you saying you love him for? Like, to stop. Like, that's her uncle. Like, she can love him. Like, you know, and he always like show up for them, like go to their games, or like just bring them in, like move them into our house, like just go above and beyond for them. And I always just be feeling like so self-entitled to him. Like, even with my sister, he used to always take me to work when I was younger with him. He has his own business, and I would go to work with him, and he would try to bring my younger sister along, and when she was born and shit, and that used to like really rub me the wrong way. And that's why I really wasn't rocking with her when I was younger. Like, I really kind of disliked her when I was younger, because I feel like I had to share my dad. And it's like I don't know, there's some type of like self-entitlement, like higher pedestal I put him on. And because he just, you know, he earned that. But at the same time, it's like he's human, and like I can't just disregard that. So
Sum up the daddy issue thing, like, you know, like I say, it's just better to let it go. And if you feel like, okay, let me try to fix it, if they're trying, because I do feel like as a parent, you know, it is your main majority of the job to try to fix and repair a broken relationship with your kids. So
I literally just told her that, like, I feel like it's not the kids part. I don't care how old you get, how many times you try. If you want a relationship with your kid, you keep trying.
So that's the thing. I was saying that the excuse was the phone works both ways, but now it's that, well, we're all grown, and it's like
people love to say that.
Okay,
like,
but now that we're grown, because my opinion, there's nothing my dad can do.
Yeah.
There's nothing he can do.
But
I'm never gonna get my kid out. They're not
my
ready.
mom is still my mom.
Right.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still my mom.
And we're grown though. Hold on, I was gonna say something.
Go ahead.
I said we're grown, but I just know that my bio can try as much as he wants to. but I'm 27 and it's too late. That train took off. So there's really nothing that
And
you
that's
can say.
okay. My brother, my mom got 5 kids. My brother that's above me, and then me, we literally have our own dad. All the other 3 got the same dad. He never met his dad. My mom asked him, "Hey, do you want to meet your dad?" You know what his response was?
Hell no.
No, because I don't want him to ever feel like he gonna get any credit for the man that I became today.
Okay, that's
So, and like y'all said, like, you know, dads do come back in and just feel like, oh, you know, oh, damn, daughter, you doing your thing. Okay,
That's
yeah,
my
what we
daughter.
doing? Yeah, no, dial it back. Can we take baby steps and anything?
Excuse you, what's
Like,
your name again?
So I mean, I guess you could be like proud, but like you did nothing to contribute.
Exactly.
Because you know you can be proud of somebody, like, you know what I'm saying. I didn't birth you, and I can be proud of you, but like, yeah, the entitlement, yeah, I'm not really.
Yeah, then it could be unhealthy for a person who didn't have something, and then now all of a sudden come back. I'm kind of going through it right now with a different situation, but as far as a parent, like, you got to think with somebody who wanted that. So now I'm allowing you back in my life. I'm allowing you back in my space. So now potentially you could get up in here and I'm gonna fall for your bullshit. I don't even know who you is, but because I want that so bad, I'm gonna go ahead and allow you to do that. And it's like, no, like, so yeah.
So when you were saying that you're grown, what I was gonna say is I'm grown, but although I'm grown, you're still gonna have to parent the child in me. You still have to be the dad to the child to me, because no matter if I'm 28, I still have a 21-year-old Jasmine in me. I still have a 10-year-old Jasmine in me. A 1-year-old. So that part of me didn't die. I just got older. So you still need to help heal that part.
That makes sense. I think, like I was saying, like, at the end of the day, just because you're grown and you become older doesn't mean that you stop parenting. And I think that, like, for example, up until my grandma passed away, I mean, my mom always called my grandma for anything. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's her mom, and it's like she needed advice. That's her mom. That's who she went to. And it's like,
it don't stop at 18.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. And it's like, but then why do you even feel like that? Because you never started. So like,
but it doesn't start at 25 either.
Yeah, and I feel like that's a lot of, with the black community, that's the biggest thing right now. Like, you know, oh, 18, you grown. You want your, no, like, honestly, I don't want my kid to even feel comfortable until moving out, until they are damn near 25. Not 25, but past 18, because 18, you don't really know shit. And that's another thing, too.
Age.
For a 2-parent household, like you say, is it healthy? Because, again, like, say you do have a mom and a dad. I still don't know about no motherfucking credit and, you know, what's really supposed to be done in life. Like, you know, because, like, that's important, too. Like, they got to be knowledgeable. So this is my question I did want to ask for y'all. Like, just how we're young, and, you know, we all be young one time. Do y'all feel like y'all parents, you know, were just young? You know, young parents, like, you know, we make decisions we don't all agree with. Sometimes it can reflect on it, like, damn, I was young. I was 17, bro. Why the fuck was I doing that? You know what I'm saying? Like, do you feel like if y'all parents could be accountable on that part, like, you know, hey, you know, is this kind of explained? Like, whatever the case may be.
Well, for me, my mom didn't have me till she was 40, so she was very much so grown.
Oh,
Me too.
okay.
So, I don't think it was that. I mean, I haven't really talked to my mom about that situation, but from what I've gathered, I think that she really just wanted a child, and she was with my dad at the time. Now, I don't know if I was playing or not playing, but I do know that my mother was extremely excited because she wanted a kid, and obviously, well, you know, she was 40.
Yeah.
But I think for my dad, since I'm his last kid that we know about, I don't think that he was really accountable for anything. I mean, in the stories that I've heard, from what I've witnessed, whether it's my brother that lives here and like their relationship, my 2 brothers that live in Vegas, I mean, no, I don't think that. I think that he has been the same probably since he was 20, 30, 40, 50. I mean, my dad party more than me.
Yeah, that is true. People don't grow. People don't change. So I can agree with that.
You can get in a car accident and then do a hit and run, and then, you know, you pay your karma, and then you drive safe. You know what I'm saying? You take accountability. You turn yourself in. You don't go. I'm gonna say adult, 18 plus years, because the thing is, a lot of men like to blame the mom. So I like to add that on. As a woman, yes, take accountability for who we take the chance. It's not that we plan to have a baby, because y'all pull the trigger, you know. They trap us, but we really allow the opportunity to get us pregnant. So with that being said, it's like, just because we're not together, I'm a stranger, one night stand, whatever the situation is that you have an excuse for, that's a child. That's what you chose to do. You chose to lay down. You chose to create life. And unless you're giving up adoption, unless you're doing some type of fighting for custody, then no, I don't care what your excuse is. And then at 18, you can't blame my mom anymore.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I've given my mom the space to admit that she didn't do everything right. I can't give that to my dad because at the end of the day, she held everything down.
Exactly.
She was 20 years old with a newborn, trying to figure out how I can eat, how she was going to eat. Like, we didn't move out of my grandma's house till I was 5 years old, and that was my mom's first time having her apartment. I moved out at 25, and I moved to a different state, and I didn't have a baby. So one thing that he was trying to do, like, blame my mom for certain things. I'm just like, that's what you're not going to do, because she's the reason why I ate. She's the reason why, for the very first time I traveled out of this country, she paid almost $2,000 for me to go. She fundraised, she did what she needed to do. Like, you're not going to take that away from her. Was she perfect? No. Like, me and my mom bumped heads a lot when I was a teenager, but
she tried.
She tried and she did her best, and I am here because of her.
She never abandoned you.
She never abandoned me in spite of you. So,
and she tried, because it's like, I feel like for me, like, if you would have like tried, then maybe I would have been a little bit more comfortable. But see, I don't feel like the try was a try. I feel like the try, by the time he did try, was more so, I'm your dad, let me back in your life, and let's build this relationship. It didn't feel like it was like I'm trying to really build a relationship. Okay, well, I'm going to call you. Yeah, I'm going to give you your space, but I'm going to call you. I just want to let you know that I really want this. Okay, well, if you need your space, X, Y, and Z, what can I do to move forward? Like, it was not that, even if that was the case, or despite the coming back in your life, how about like just trying to be around? Like, I know for a fact that it wasn't like my mom was playing that role of keep baby away. Yeah. So then it's like, where was your effort? Like, if you just weren't there and it was something, like, I could feel more for you, but it's like, it was because of you. Like, and your issues. And it's not like, I mean, for me, it's not even like, well, he didn't want for his issues to affect me. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It was just complete selfish. I could even deal with that. Like, okay, well, you were in a wrong mental state, so you didn't want to be around. Like, that for me would be just a little bit better than I was just out doing drugs, or I was out with my friends, or
it's like
I was living my life.
Give me a reason.
Yeah.
When you can't. Like, I knew that I was 7, but this nigga gave me a chain that he had on. Like, the last time I saw him, I remember that. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I remember him giving me a present. And thinking about it later, even when I was like 13, it was like, oh, you knew you weren't coming back. Like, it wasn't like, I'm just going to fall back, like, subconsciously. You made that conscious decision that you were not going to be there anymore. Like, and I remember putting that chain in the trash, not knowing why I put it in the trash, like, until, like, I broke it down, like, getting older. But I'm like, you knew exactly what you were doing.
Yeah.
Like,
and to do that to a kid, that's why I don't like you.
Yeah, like, I don't like you. I remember my dad only doing one thing for me, and it was, I think I was 21 or 22, but I wanted to go see Beyonce. So I was like, I had never gotten a birthday card, a present, nothing. I want these tickets, so give me the money. But that's the only thing I remember him doing for me. And then recently, it was like maybe like a month before my birthday, I wrote him a very long message, like in detail, like, this is why I don't fuck with you. Like, please only reach out to me if I make the first move. So it was around my birthday, and he asked my mom for my Cash App. And she was like, do you want me to give it to him? Like, I mean, I guess so. If he wants to send me money, I'm not going to turn away free money.
Right, period.
I never got a Cash App.
Exactly.
I was about to say,
So I'm
that was
just
money
like,
for the, damn.
Mine would send me money, but, you know, it's like $200 once ever in my life. And it's like, oh, thanks.
It's like, you prove my point of why, like, actions speak louder than words to me. So my stepdad did some fucked up shit to me as a child, not like abusive or anything, but he just
Manipulative.
not even manipulative. He just couldn't be there for me because I was the kid in the house and his daughter lives in New Jersey. So like he couldn't be that for me, but the reason why I accept his apologies and the changes that he makes because he's shown me now that he regrets it. So if I need anything, I know I can call him. If I want to talk, I know that I can talk to him. Like sometimes he's a son of a bitch, like he is, but I know that as he's gotten older, he's realized the error of his ways and how it's affected the people around him, and he's trying to do better. I can't say that my dad is trying to do better. He just thinks that he should be there because
he's the dad.
But y'all don't feel like, I'm sorry to interrupt you. So what you saying that like, so y'all don't feel like, I mean, I know it's laid down the line, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it is because, you know, I have a soft spot for my dad. He has not been the best, but I love the bond we got now. And I do feel like without him, I wouldn't know the things I know and went through things I did. Some things I wouldn't even got through without him. So I feel like y'all don't feel like that.
No, because we don't have it.
Yeah, I don't have that. I don't even have.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, so y'all don't feel like when y'all fathers do reach out, even at bare minimum, like that's not the guilt in them.
no,
I think sometimes it might be, but sometimes it might just be more so guilt because it's eating them alive. But they might not want to.
That had nothing to do with me.
But no, I'm saying it might not even be because they want the relationship with you, or they feel like they're thinking of you. They're thinking of themselves when it comes to. I feel like, and it's like, yeah, but what the fuck about me? Like, you know,
my dad's side of the family did that. Like, my dad wasn't there, but his brother and sister, my aunt and uncle, because I pretty much cut them off as an adult, understanding the unhealthy relationship. But anytime they would come around once in a blue moon, not even often, it would be buying me stuff. Oh, you need some new tires? Here you go. Oh, you hungry? Here you go. Oh, here's some money. Oh, you want to, it's just like, you can't, there's no bond, there's no real love. So I think back to the independent woman, it's like I see my mom doing it all by herself, and I got a little sister I grew up with. So no brother, no dad, nothing. But then it's like, on my dad's side, I see people just paying for love. So it's like, it's hard for me to accept a man, they say let a man lead and do all this, but it's like, I'm brainwashed to think that if you do something nice for me, then something bad, something comes along with that. And it's like, I'd rather just do it myself because I can. I've seen my mom do it.
Well, piggybacking off of that, we go into our next question. Does your daddy issues affect your relationship?
Yeah.
Not once you get older and stuff and you realize that, it affects it less. But just like how I can acknowledge that, I know to keep my guard up per se, and I know that if a man buys you something, if he does something for you, that doesn't make you obligated, and don't let them brainwash, because you know how boys are. It don't really even got to be daddy issues, because we got to ask these men why do they do that too. But it does stem back to that. It's like, okay,
yeah,
I'll meet you there. I'll pay for my own food.
Right. I think we were talking about it earlier, and something might seem so genuine because in your mind, if you were to do that, it would be coming from a special place in your heart. And just because it seems nice doesn't mean that, it came from a special place. And I think that's what it is for me, just knowing people's intentions.
Yeah.
If they're pure or not. And I'm very big on that because I might do something that, Gabby might think is fucked up, but you know who I am. So it's like, well, my intentions were pure. Like, it might not have been the best, but you know me for me. So maybe that's what it was. And so I think,
I think for me...
Go ahead, Josh. You been quiet for this one.
Anyways. So my only thing is, because I don't know my dad or who he is, I feel like it's just some abandonment there. So the only thing that I can say that have the biggest issue with him is in a relationship is if there's some type of like you don't care about me or you're so willing to get up and just leave, that trickles into my abandonment. It's like, oh, well, you're just gonna leave me like you don't care about me, you don't fuck with me, it's just me and me, you know what I mean? So it does put me back in that space,
I feel like for me, like in a relationship wise, so again, my dad didn't really be really involved in my life till I got to high school. And also my siblings feel some type of like they just think me and my dad like got this, dope bond, like, oh, you dad's favorite, this, that, and the third. But I do feel like with my dad's situation, I feel like it is a two-way street. Like, I will call and check on my dad. You know what I'm saying? I will, hey dad, let's go get lunch. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure you're okay. You a human. Like, you know how your day going. Like, I check on him like that. His other kids don't do that. You know, no shade, but it's just like, you know, we all live in the same city. You know what I'm saying? We all got the same phone number. My dad tried to reach out to some phones not working, all that. So for me, with my relationship wise, my dad has, since he came back around, always, I wouldn't say spoiled, but I feel like that's where he feel like he lack at, and he try to make up by buying things. Like what y'all just said, like my dad would literally give me whatever at the drop of a dime if he got it. So I feel like that rubbed off in a way as I got older into my relationship. Cause I'm not gonna lie, the moment you told me no, bitch, I'm pissed off. Cause what? You know what? Bitch, cause I can call my dad and he gonna give it for me. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for me, like, you know, I did chill a lot as I got older and realized, like, bitch, you ain't a kid, you ain't a princess. Like, you're not always gonna get your way, you know? But I feel like that was just more something, like, just being spoiled by him and him trying to fix that. I got used to it and thought, like, okay, my nigga supposed to do that.
Yeah, like that's the expectation.
Well, that's my expectation now because, like I said, I've been without so long. It's like, okay, now that, you know, how we said, I don't know if we said it earlier or not, but about how the roles are changing and everything. So it's like, yeah, we got to be masculine. I hate when men say, like, don't be masculine. Who's going to pay these bills? You know what I'm saying? Like, we got to work. We got to run our household until you step in, and men don't want to step in. So it's like you can get...
And not even just financially, but just emotionally too. Yeah. Like, not even into your emotions. Like, I just feel like, you know, for this generation, I mean, and people said back in the day that your 20s was like the best years of your life, but I feel like for us, maybe not so much because we were actually trying to dive into those traumas and fix whatever it is that might have happened. And I just feel like when I look at not even just my dad, the older generation, they're really stuck in their ways. Like, I mean, and they don't want to change. And for me, it doesn't matter who you are, if you're my mom, if you're my friend, if you're my grandma, like, you know what I'm saying? You gotta always want to get better, at least to be around me all the time. You know what I'm saying? I need to see improvement. Like, I never want to be at the same place. And I definitely don't want to hear you complain about the same shit, but you're not doing nothing to change your ways. It's something that really pisses me off. Like, especially if I'm hearing it repeatedly, like, you're not even, like, trying. So, yeah.
I went to a psychiatrist last year instead of just like my regular therapist because, like, something's not right. Like, I had been in therapy enough to know that, like, I might need some extra help. So in asking questions, she determined that I had borderline personality disorder. So and one thing she kept saying to me over and over and over again is, it stems from trauma, it stems from trauma, it stems from trauma. And I got really fucking tired of hearing the word trauma over and over again. But, like, she was right. And at first I thought that, like, my personality is fucked up. Like, that's not fair. But,
you got two of them.
It's like not like having two, it's just that it can switch very quickly based on a trigger.
Yeah.
So
that's what we should talk about next is triggers.
Yeah, that'd be wild.
I'm triggered if you're late, I'm triggered by that.
Yes, she is.
If you
give me grace is all I ask for.
If you don't show up if you don't show up when you say you're going to, I am triggered by that. I'm triggered by inconsistency.
Yeah, facts.
But the way that my brain works, or that most people's brain works, is that they are attracted to familiarity. So I'm not aware that the partners that I've selected or will select, I am trying to prove to them in a way, like, why I am worthy of their love or things like that. But, like, my therapist had me read this book called Attached. So it breaks down everybody's different attachment styles. So mine is an anxious attachment. So I'm going to need constant reassurance. I'm going to need you to do what you say you're going to do. I need you to be consistent in every area, or my nervous system is literally going to, like, freak the fuck out. But the fucked up thing in that book that pissed me off, it said that anxious attachment styles find avoidant attachment partners about 90% of the time. So what you need is a secure attachment partner, but because you're so used to the chaos that you survived and have dealt with based on that trauma, you're going to unknowingly seek out that person that can't give it to you. And it becomes like a challenge to get them to see
That adrenaline rush that you used to get.
That's how it has affected my relationships, especially when I was younger, and kind of now, but especially when I was younger, because I thought my fiance was supposed to be around me 24/7. I didn't want him to talk to any other girls. I wanted him to be on the phone with me all the time, and I didn't realize like that shit wasn't normal until I was like 25. Like I
was like, oh,
like,
I just thought I was in love.
I just thought I was so deep in love, like no, that's just not real. But like there's a sad part to that diagnosis, because like sometimes if you are not getting that love, it can literally make you feel like you want to die.
Right.
And I've wanted to die. So it's just like that's why I can't bang with you, bro. Like you have done this to me and I'm never going to get over it. I can work to try to make it better, but it's going to be constant work, and it's draining to like talk yourself up all the time and remind yourself like, yo, you can't just pop off. Like sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah.
I mean, damn, y'all being deep. I mean, shoot.
You asked for this.
Drinking.
Drinking, that's what it is.
Bottoms up.
Okay. That's really like all the questions that I had in regards to that. I mean, I have one more, but we kind of already touched on it. Like, you know, if we had the conversation with our father or if we didn't. Does anybody want to add on to the pot?
Mine will only be if I had an opportunity to talk to mine to be like, I want your, but I can't make a full judgment right now because I don't know his side of the story. I have like some anger in me, but it's mostly towards my mom. Because she refuses to talk about my other side. So my biggest thing is, if you knew, you know, why did you choose to be absent for so long? And then my other question is, if you didn't know, did you ever wonder? Did you ever see me? Or did you ever hear something about me? And did you make a move on that?
I feel like they definitely wondered, and that's the problem. You don't not think about your kid for 18, 20, 25, 30.
But I'm saying, like, I don't even know if you know about me, you know? You know what I mean?
So have you ever thought about, like, do you see yourself, like, looking for your dad?
On some Antoine Fisher shit?
If you don't...
Was he just looking for his mom?
And
I just remember Viola Davis sitting there.
Yeah, like, for his, like, birth family. I think he found his dad's side. So he wanted to find out who he was because he was in the foster care. But, yeah, I feel like that would be
That's
me.
a little bit different, though, yeah. If it's not his fault, if he's not faulted for that.
That's what I want to know before I make a decision. I want to hate
fair.
you if you didn't know. Like, I truly, because my mom, like, a little story about me is my mom was with someone else, my older sister's dad. And I feel like I was, like, when they see me and, like, I look very, like, Caribbean, like as a child, like very Caribbean, very like Jamaican. Like a lot of people always ask me, like, are you African? Are you Haitian? Are you Jamaican? Like I always get that, always have. So I feel like for my sister's dad to see that baby come from my mom and she doesn't have any type of Creole in her, I feel like that's when they identify that I was someone else's. But did that someone else know about me? And if my thing is, I can't hate you until I know the full story. And I was like, I want to give you that grace to know the full story, but for my mom right now, it's like you don't understand why I need that story. And I feel like even if it's a dark chapter in your life, you know what I mean, or a mistake that you made, or even if you really just genuinely don't know, I feel like I'm owed that conversation.
Absolutely.
Because I'm a woman. I have a child who's going to be out here being fruitful with other people. I feel like I'm deserving to know who I can potentially be dating.
I feel like all of this stuff is generational, and the only like now, like it sounds like all of us are like doing the work and are very self-aware of like what it means to like break those generational curses. But like I know that this shit started with my grandparents. Like my mom and my aunts, they're twins. They were love children. So my grandfather was married to his wife and was with my grandma, and then he had 2 sets of twins in the same year. And the only reason why,
Twins right in your family?
Yes, I'm very scared to get pregnant.
I would be.
But the only reason why his wife found out about my mom and my aunt is because on my 2nd birthday, my mom ran into her sisters at the Sears. This is very 90s. So I was getting my second birthday pictures taken, and my mom recognized them from pictures that she had seen, but she did not know that they did not know who she was. So she went up to them and introduced herself, showed them our ID and everything, and they were like, no, that's not right, that's not right. But my mom was like, no, like for real, like, so they had to believe it. So my grandparents didn't get officially married until 1997. I'm 5. And he went home that day on my birthday, and his wife was like, so I met your second family today. And all that nigga said was, look, I'm gonna pack my bags.
Yeah.
That's all he said. And once they got divorced, my grandma moved into the house where he raised his kids with his wife. So like there's all this
energy.
So that was like a champion for your grandma. That was a big win, because how old was your mom?
22.
That was like a win for your grandmother. Like,
oh, she started laughing, and my mom and my aunt got pissed. Like she thought it was the funniest thing in the world.
I can imagine.
And like I've been in situations where like I see my life reflecting the life of the women in my family, and I wish that, I don't think she would tell me, but I wish that she was still alive so that like maybe I could get like some insight into why she did things the way that she did. Like I think it'll help a lot of us understand why the way we are that we are, because my grandfather only popped up at the house between the hours of 3 and 7 because he had to go home and take care of the other babies.
Right.
So I feel like it's very generational, and I'm trying to do everything that I can to break it. And I know my mom is very apologetic of like the things that she exposed me to. So it's not, is that shit genetic, or it's just like,
it can be.
I think some things are genetic for sure.
And some things are just like habitual, like, you know, in tradition, like we grow up and they form us, like we see these humans do these things, like we barely know that we're humans, and we see these other humans do these things and act in these patterns, and like we're feeling their nervous systems go out of whack, and like it's affecting everything that we're doing, and like we've been witnessing this, and like we're taking that in, like we're sponges as we're children, so like unknowingly we're taking in these shit.
Don't judge me.
that's a real. When somebody,
I need a shot to that one.
my old pastor, when I actually went to church, he used to say, more is caught than taught. So you can tell a child all day long, don't do what I do, don't do what I do, don't do what I do. But no, yes, do as I say, not as I do. But that shit's that doesn't work that way.
Yeah, it doesn't. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like, I mean, we sit here and we preach all of these things, or as parents. I mean, I'm not a parent, but you know, our parents do that, and it's like that's not even logical, because you tell me not to smoke, but you smoking. You tell me not to cuss, but like every
That's
other
all
word is a cuss word. Yeah, it's just
So it's confusing.
Yeah, it doesn't logically make any sense. Like a lot of the stuff that like we grew up logically just doesn't. People just did it because that's what their people did, and that's what their people did.
They weren't thinking about their mental health. It was
Survival.
1970s, 80s, like we're all black women.
I think that's the first time we are able to be free. You got to think about how, and I'm sorry, I'm not a history buff, but I like to think of reality.
No,
you know what I mean?
She's
like,
a history buff.
you got to think about how short that window was of time from when we were being segregated till now we can live freely. Then the crack epidemic, then it was this, and then the jail, then it was so much stuff that happened in over 100 years. Every 10 years we were going through some bullshit as black people in America. Every 10 years of the 90s we went through something crazy. COVID, I think, is the most we've been through.
So, I mean, I think that was a pretty, like, deep conversation, and we can always, like, dive back in, you know, and even go deeper, but I ain't want to do too much.
I didn't cry.
Okay, I know that's right. Again, thank you guys so much for being a part of the group chat today. I'm so excited and so very, very thankful, like truly, truly thankful. And to you guys that are watching, thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Like, comment, share, tap,